on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social right now. South Korea will spend $440 million by 2027 to counter North Korea drones. And an amazing rescue caught on camera. Nala the dog reunited with her family after being stranded overnight in the snowy mountains in Utah. And wake up, sports fans. Former Centerville Elk Sean Murphy making some money, honey. The Atlanta Braves signing the Gold Glove catcher to a 6-year deal worth $73 million. And now we want to give you a live look this morning over the Gem City right now. Things a little chilly out there, but we are hopefully heading into some slightly warmer weather. So let's send it over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak to see when things could warm up for us.
Well, it should be warmer today, but I mean, you look at the wind chills this morning, it's still chilly outside. You're still going to need a hat, gloves, all of that. 13 is what it feels like in Richmond, 18 in Dayton, and 19 in Troy. A little bit warmer as you work your way in towards Sydney comparatively to Wapakoneta, but you get the idea. It is pretty much, I would say, upper teens for the most part in terms of what it feels like, upper 20s in terms of temperatures themselves. Of course, as you work your way north, it's actually a little bit warmer. Further to the south, it's actually a little bit cooler. Either way, though, today, sunshine comes out, yay, and will be partly to mostly sunny. I do think it'll be pretty nice considering the last couple of days. We're pointing out that we do expect significant melting. I did notice on my drive in that the roads started to seem a little bit better, and I think that's a theme that we could expect. Wet roads all day as we do significant melting during the afternoon and evening.
Now we want to give you a live look right now at FlightAware's misery map. That tracks canceled flights and radar for winter weather. You can see lots of red, meaning lots of headaches for travelers.
We spent 3 hours here yesterday and finally just gave up, and now we're here today and the line's much shorter, which is good, but still, it's been an awful experience.
Luggage piling up at multiple airports across the country following thousands of canceled flights, mostly by Southwest Airlines. This is the scene in Houston this morning. Now the Biden administration has decided to investigate. Southwest Airlines continues struggling with the holiday rush. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg calls it an unacceptable situation.
From what I can tell, Southwest is unable to locate even where their own crews are, let alone their own passengers, let alone baggage. So I conveyed to the CEO our expectation that they are going to go above and beyond to take care of passengers and to address this.
Southwest blames multiple factors, including storm delays, aggressive flight scheduling, and outdated infrastructure. Buttigieg says the transportation department will hold the airline accountable to ensure this doesn't happen again. And New York State Police are continuing to search and rescue efforts in Buffalo. This tweet from the National Weather Service in Buffalo says this makes just over a week without winter weather headlines in effect for that area. Now, crews are using this machine called the Rook to clear anything in their way so roads can be cleared by plows. Authorities continue to urge drivers to stay off the roads. There's still a travel ban in effect in the entire city. Officials are still counting the fatalities from the storm as well, the deadliest in the region in more than 2 decades. And the young woman that we have seen actually was just 6 minutes from her home when her car got stuck in the heavy snow, leaving her stranded. She actually called for help and waited for first responders. Now a woman discovered her body the next day. An official with the Buffalo Fire Department said they couldn't get to her in time due to the severe conditions, adding the equipment they sent to help also got stuck. Now, we don't know the woman's exact cause of death. It has not yet been revealed. We now know the driver of a semi-tractor trailer involved in a deadly crash in Shelby County will face charges. It happened on Christmas Eve, where you can see that's been marked on the map there. 29-year-old Dayron Rokubert faces 5 charges of vehicular homicide. 4 people were killed. One of the victims was pregnant. Bond is now set at $125,000. Now, this is the footage that was shared from Senator Jay Hottinger showing some of the water damage at the Ohio State House. Workers were able to shut the water off to the building minutes after the flooding started. Water reportedly went down 2 levels of stairs. Puddles accumulated on the Senate floor and outside offices as well. And a fire in an apartment building in Dayton has left 9 people without a home this morning. Now, what happened at a complex on Germantown Street around 4 o'clock last night. Dayton firefighters were able to stop that fire from spreading to the rest of the building. Thankfully, though, no one was hurt. The Red Cross has been called in to help people who lost their homes. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. And another search will happen this weekend for a missing Clermont County man with autism. Surveillance video shows 72-year-old Tommy Mills, who you see right now on your screen, leaving his apartment on December 5th around 10:20 that night. Now, he hasn't been seen or heard from since. Volunteers and law enforcement have already done several searches. The next is this Saturday at Access Church in Amelia. You can find more information on the web version of this story on our website. And the Supreme Court says Title 42 will remain in place, at least for now. The rule allows authorities to turn away many asylum seekers at the U.S. border to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The rule allows authorities to turn away many asylum seekers, as I just mentioned moments ago. It extends a temporary stay issued by the Supreme Court after a group of Republican-led states filed an emergency appeal to keep the policy in place. It will be in effect until the Supreme Court decides the case. Arguments are scheduled for February. Coming up in just 10 minutes, national reporter Christine Frizzell takes a look at the latest numbers from the border. And we are coming up on the new year, and many throughout the Miami Valley are, of course, ready to celebrate. Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live downtown with some more on some of the options for you over the weekend. Alex.
Yeah, well, you know, some enjoy staying home. Others like going out to celebrate the new year. Some prefer to celebrate earlier in the day. And guess what? You can do that here at Mudlick Tap House. You can see here behind me. These are so cool. I've never actually gotten to go inside one of these, but maybe when people show up, I'll have to ask if I can go in. But here at Mudlick Tap House, you can enjoy New Year's Eve with a boozy brunch. You'll need to reserve a table, or you can grab a group of friends and book one of these heated igloos. For those who might prefer a later celebration to ring in the new year at midnight, there are tons of events in the area. Yellow Cab Tavern's New Year's Eve Silent Disco and Dayton's Ball Drop. The doors open at 8, and there's a $15 pre-sale, or it will be $20 at the door. There's going to be a black tie affair at MJ's on Jefferson. You can reserve a table for up to 6 people by purchasing tickets on Eventbrite. There's also a New Year's Eve Roaring 20s Gala, which will be held at the Marriott at the University of Dayton starting at 7 Saturday evening. Keep in mind, it's one of the busiest nights of the year, so most places that don't require tickets will have a cover charge. Now, you'll find more on these New Year's Eve events underneath the local section of our website, Dayton247now.com, and stay with us because we're going to talk about more events going on in the area this weekend, to celebrate the start of 2023. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
All right, Alex, where do you like to celebrate, home or out?
Well, usually I have to work the next morning, I feel like, so I usually celebrate at home, and I will be doing that again this year. We don't really like going out much, so my parents are going to come over, and we're just going to hang out.
Luckily for the both of us, we don't have to work the next morning. Thank goodness for that. All right, 5:09 is our time right now. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and your weather's on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. After years of trying to understand Donald Trump's finances, the House Ways and Means Committee set to make sure his tax returns are public just ahead when they plan to release the documents. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at. Quiet conditions all across the area and not that many clouds either. We do have the rain and snow continuing well to our north. We have built in a ridge of high pressure. All those things will combine for a week that will turn warmer, but eventually it'll turn wet. We'll be right on the periphery of that high pressure. What ends up happening is that's the area where you do get some frequent rain chances. And because that lingers over us both Friday and Saturday, it does look like both days have the potential to be wet. Even into Sunday morning, we could still see a few showers. So if you're out gallivanting, spending the new year, you just heard Alex with all those things you can do. You may want to go with an umbrella or some sort of something that'll keep you dry. Now, meantime, today, temperatures low 40s, mid 40s are possible if we do get a lot of sunshine. I think low 40s are more likely because of the ongoing snow melt. Tonight, 37, tomorrow, 51, partly to mostly cloudy, and beyond tomorrow, we'll be in the 50s. But again, those rain chances continue for both Friday and Saturday. We will have Sunday seemingly being a drier day, but it may still be a lingering shower early on. As for the roads this morning, it has gotten better, at least in my neighborhood, actually significantly better. But the interstates, you're still going to have the issues every once in a while once you get off onto the secondary roads, but no major issues. 75, 70, or 675 this morning. It is green across the board.
We now know this morning that public health policy Title 42 will remain in place, at least for now. The Supreme Court is expected to hear arguments in February. And as national correspondent Christine Frizzell reports, border cities are now dealing with unprecedented numbers of migrants coming into the U.S.
They are snapshots of desperation. Migrants from around the globe after long journeys to get here, sleeping on the streets in frigid temperatures. CBP agents telling lawmakers they are undermanned and overwhelmed.
They feel helpless because there are so many people coming across the border. They know that we're picking up these people and we're just going to release them into the United States, maybe never to be seen again.
Questions about what happens next depend in part on the fate of Title 42, the policy that allows officials to immediately turn away migrants before allowing them to file a claim for asylum. A policy set to end last week, but that deadline extended following action by the U.S. Supreme Court. The Texas National Guard has stepped in, adding additional fencing, as border officials also erect tents like this in preparation for the tens of thousands of people per day experts say DHS is not equipped to handle.
They need to process them. They need to do background checks on them, public health screening, get their fingerprints, make sure they're not wanted criminals, and then serve them with the legal paperwork to initiate their case.
The challenge is magnified by the sheer numbers of migrants who have already come. More than 233,000 encounters at the southern border in November, a slight increase from last month, but with one major difference. The vast majority now coming from Cuba and Nicaragua, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. While the Biden administration has undone several policies enacted under former President Trump, any major changes to U.S. immigration policy will still have to come from Congress. Their changes, polls show the majority of Americans are calling for.
And Americans demand and deserve, and we all need border security. But to get there, we need to sit down and do the hard work of fixing a broken and badly outdated system.
A system now strained more than ever. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
A live look this morning from the U.S. Capitol, where the House Ways and Means Committee will release former President Donald Trump's tax returns on Friday. Multiple reports have the returns being placed into the congressional record Friday morning around 9 o'clock. The House Ways and Means Committee is controlled by Democrats who have tried for years to learn more about Trump's finances. He's the only modern president to refuse to release his tax returns, which could result in political fallout for the 2024 White House hopeful. Our time right now is 5:18. We are off to see The Wizard. Yeah, I didn't do that very well. A piece of a film history up for auction. Personal note, my favorite film of all time. Just ahead, how much someone paid for this timepiece. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
We're going to start things out with the dog of the day, and Rebecca sent it Olaf. Olaf has been our dog of the day, I believe now 3 days. This is one of those that I forgot to email one day, forgot to email the next day, and Olaf deserves some screen time because, well, he's a sleepy boy. We are expecting temperatures to rise into the low 40s. Notice the green. The only thing I would say is yellow is the fact that the paws are probably going to be muddy at a certain point. It may not be today. The ground is still pretty hard underneath that snow. So what I think ends up happening is as everything seeps in, it'll become soft, but not necessarily that muddy. Once you get into tomorrow and we really start to see all of that snow melt away, these are going to go to yellows and maybe even some reds over the weekend, where we talk about a decent rainfall on its way for Friday and Saturday. So today, the day that finally it looks like we're not going to deal with brutal cold or bitter cold wind chills. Instead, today, a day where we'll actually see the sunshine, maybe a great day to get Olaf or your dog outside. Meanwhile, if you're heading outside for the for traffic, you know, it's a morning where we're not seeing too many issues. It does look like a steady morning commute nonetheless, and we haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns on any of the major interstates.
Today's number of the day focuses on education. 59% of voters believe colleges and universities that receive some form of government aid should be required to hire faculty members of both liberal and conservative perspectives. Now, a Scott Rasmussen national survey also found that only 24% would oppose such a requirement. 17% weren't sure about such a measure. Now, the survey also found 55% of voters say it should be against the law to fire someone because of their political beliefs, generally speaking.
A pharmaceutical nonprofit was granted priority review from the FDA to make an inexpensive overdose reversal drug for use without a prescription. Harm Reduction Therapeutics says the nasal spray of naloxone is expected to be available at the end of April. Now, the company said it would give away 1/10 of its product and then sell the rest to pharmacies, public sector employees, and groups that work with drug users at cost, about $18 a dose. And it says it plans to produce 2 million doses a year. The nonprofit joins a group of manufacturers pursuing over-the-counter status for a drug to address the crush of deaths from bootleg versions of fentanyl, which is entering the U.S. through the southern border. Well, a New York man filed a class action lawsuit against Apple, alleging Apple Watch's blood oximeter has a racial bias against individuals with darker skin tones. Alex Morales says he purchased the Apple Watch between 2020 and 2021. Apple had no comment on that lawsuit. And Peloton, which disappointed investors last month with the lower than expected holiday forecast, began offering refurbished bikes at discounts of up to $500 below new model prices. So that will bring the refurbished models to $1,100 to about $2,000. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
We'll follow the yellow brick road. Follow. Okay, that's annoying. Well, the Smithsonian Magazine reports a prop used in The Wizard of Oz recently sold for $495,000 at auction. It was the ornate hourglass in the scene where the Wicked Witch of the West tells Dorothy she has only a short time to live. Standing 20 inches tall and almost a foot wide, it's a Gothic frame with gargoyles, oh my goodness, perched on 3 columns. There's no word on who bought it. You can obviously tell I'm still trying to recover from that. I call it the winter
You still got
crud.
the notes out, like you did
a
fine.
little bit. It's just it's all in the nasal right now, like the nasal passages, which is a little annoying. But
yeah, I mean, you're getting better,
slowly but surely.
I was about to say you went for a note last time, you didn't have it in the tank, and now you hit the notes.
We're starting. Yeah, the voice is warming up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you sounded like me singing, and now you're actually it's like starting to get better and better.
I guess it's better that my dad used to sound like my mom used to say my dad sounded like a croaking frog whenever he would sing. So
man, I
guess it's better than that.
I strive for that level.
All right, 5:25. Next time I'll get it. 5:25. Our time right now. Still to come.
We are getting ready to head into New Year's Eve weekend. We're getting excited for 2023. Coming up next, I'm going to talk about some fun events you can enjoy that are around the Dayton area coming up next.
And Nala Jackson makes her first court appearance in Indiana just ahead, but she told the judge and when she might arrive back in Ohio. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In today's Tech Bites, the U.S. House is banning TikTok. A new rule says the popular app cannot be downloaded on any device issued by the House of Representatives because it poses a security risk. That concern stems from TikTok being owned by a Chinese company. Apple is facing a class action lawsuit that claims racial bias stemming from the blood oxygen reader in the Apple Watch. A New York man who filed the suit is citing research that found the technology to be inaccurate when used on darker skin tones. Apple did not immediately respond. And some temporary relief for those who depend on digital payments for business. The IRS is delaying by 1 year a tax code change that calls for the mandatory declaration of any transaction over $600. The change was supposed to take effect this tax season. And when it comes to taxes, sometimes it can be a cruel world. Those are your Tech Bites.
I'm at this wing joint telling people that Geico has been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the buffalo wing's been around.
Dozen wings.
And did you know that Geico offers motorcycle insurance? Oh, my lips are burning. No, my lips are actually burning.
Geico. Over 85 years of savings and service. See how much you could save at geico.com.
It's too hot. This is too hot, mate.
A dental tool is round for a reason. So is an Oral-B. Round cleans better by surrounding each tooth. So clean, you'll feel like you just left the dentist. Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
Come and get it.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social media right now. The U.S. now considering COVID entry restrictions on travelers from China. This after an uptick in COVID cases across that country. And serenity now, right? Especially after the holidays. I know I need it. Take a look. This gorgeous view of the icy waterfalls in Trumansburg, New York. absolutely stunning. It's like 60 seconds of just waterfall. And Luka Doncic, did I say it right, Mr. Alex back there? Yes, thank you. Becomes the first player in NBA history to record a 60-point, 20-rebound triple-double. I have no idea what that means, but I'm pretty sure it's impressive. It's good. Okay, thanks, Nick. As the Mavs beat the Knicks in overtime. And the post-game interview right here, he said, quote, "I'm tired as hell and I need a beer, and I need a recovery beer. Don't we all, I swear." I think Nick does too after last week's snowstorm. And we now know the woman accused of kidnapping 5-month-old twin boys from Columbus will face a judge again tomorrow. 24-year-old Nala Jackson was in court in Indianapolis yesterday for allegedly spitting on an officer. While in court, she said she doesn't want to waste anyone's time and wanted to plead guilty, but the judge said she couldn't do that at that time. No word on when she may be extradited back to Ohio. Now, Jackson was arrested in Indianapolis in connection with last week's kidnapping of Kyer and Kason Thomas. The twins were in the back seat of their mother's car when it was stolen. That abduction sparked a multi-state Amber Alert. Kyer was found the next day in a parking lot at the Dayton International Airport. Kason was found days later inside a car in downtown Indianapolis. Both babies are in good health. Jackson now faces 2 counts of kidnapping in Ohio and federal charges for bringing Kason over state lines.
Good morning. One of those mornings where it could be worse, it could be better, but we are getting better. So there you go. 28 right now in Dayton, 26 in Eaton, 24 in Lebanon. We are looking at 28 in Wapakoneta and 26 right now in Bellefontaine. So effectively, we do have these temperatures climbing mid to upper 20s. We should be able to get into the low to mid 40s. At this point, I'm not quite sure if we'll see a lot of mid 40s because we are going to have to melt a lot of snow, and that keeps temperatures down. But either way, it is going to be the first of several below or above average days after a below average pattern. So we're talking about a significant warm up. Beyond today, we will see temperatures in the 50s. And guess what? That'll continue right on through the new year. Now, if you are getting your commute going this morning, haven't seen any issues across the area. Some of the cams just need a little bit of focus. Focus. It never works with me either. 75 and 675 and 70, all looking okay for this morning.
I try to tell myself to focus every morning, and it never, ever works. All right, well, if you don't have any plans set for New Year's Eve, it's not too late to figure it out. My plans? Sleep. Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live downtown with some ideas for everyone. Am I wrong? Sleeping sounds pretty amazing, right?
Absolutely. That is the perfect plan, Elise. I love it. Some events, do require tickets, though, so you may want to consider figuring those plans out sooner rather than later, whether it be, staying home and sleeping or coming out to a place like this here at Mudlick Tap House. They actually are doing a boozy brunch, so you can reserve a table or one of these heated igloos to pregame and kick off your evening plans. There are really so many ways, though, that you can celebrate the countdown into the new year. You can head to the Dublin Pub, where starting at 6 p.m. there will be a complimentary drink distributed every hour representing a different country. I think that's so cool. Also, you can celebrate at the Boonshoft Museum starting at 9 Saturday evening. Tickets are $100 per adult and $25 for kids. Parents, don't worry. Education staff and volunteers will provide childcare, so you can still enjoy the night without worrying about them. And then also you can join the New Year's Eve bash at Blind's Bob. You can expect, of course, lots of dancing there once the doors open at 8. Of course, we're going to put all of these different options for you on our website, Dayton247now.com, just underneath the local section. But stay with us because we're going to talk about some more ideas for you, just in case you still need to make those plans. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
All right, Alex, I know we mentioned sleep is in my game plan for Saturday night. I'm also going to be watching the Peach Bowl, big Buckeye fan, right? What are your plans?
You know what? My parents are going to come over to our house, and we're probably just going to have like a bunch of snacks and stuff. Here's my thing. I can't tell you the last time I've stayed up. Well, actually, I just stayed up last night till midnight, but that was for a special reason. It's really hard for me to stay up late most nights. So we'll see. I might end up falling asleep before the ball drops, but we'll see.
That's all right. I totally understand. All right. Well, the holiday weekend saw a surge in property fires. Some of those fires deadly. We now know at least 10 people died from 5 different fires across the state. That includes a barn fire in Darke County. This is the deadliest year since 2013 for fire-related deaths. Fire officials believe the increase is because of people using alternative heat sources, and they encourage you to take every preventative measure you can. In fact, here's some tips from the American Red Cross. Make sure you get your furnaces, chimneys, and fireplaces inspected and cleaned before you use them. If you're using a space heater, look for one that will shut off automatically if the heater knocks over. Now, keep flammable things like paper, clothes, and curtains at least 3 feet away from space heaters or fireplaces as well. Also, this might seem like obvious, but don't leave them unattended. And you can cut down on heating costs by insulating your home with storm windows. Of course, those are all really great tips for everyone. And on your screen right now, the countdown to 2023, just a little more than 3 days away. And with the new year, of course, Ohio's minimum wage will be going up. The 80-cent hike for non-tipped employees will be the largest in 16 years. Mamie Bob breaks down what this means for your wallet.
If you are a full-time employee making the minimum wage, that will equal to $404 in the new year a week. Now, you take that and you multiply that by 4 weeks, you'll be making $1,616 a month. Now, don't forget that is before taxes. Uncle Sam will have to get a cut. Now, economists say most people don't make the minimum wage. It's to encourage employers to set a competitive wage. But for some consumers, even making $12 isn't enough.
The bad news is that real wages are falling for that group of people due to the inflation. So yeah, an increase in the minimum wage does make the employed people better off, but it's not enough to offset our experience with inflation over the last 2 years.
The wage increase goes into effect January 1st. Tipped employees will see a 40-cent increase. That'll be $5.05. That's what it's going to be. Now, there is a petition to get a $15 minimum wage increase on the ballot. If approved, the minimum wage will rise starting in 2025 to jump to $15 by 2018. Back to you.
This morning, Riverside police need your help identifying the suspect who is suspected of robbing a Sunoco gas station on December 21st. You're watching that video right there. This suspect had a handgun. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact Detective Michael Sullivan at the number at the bottom of your screen, that number 937-233-1801. And Moraine police are searching for suspects who beat and robbed a 94-year-old man on Christmas Eve. Police arrived at the home on Clearview Drive, which is shown here on the map behind me, to perform a wellness check Christmas Day. They found the house ransacked and the man beaten and bound. The victim's family is now offering a $5,000 reward to anyone with information that leads to those suspects. Our time right now is, of course, 5:39. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. Dayton Public Schools stepping up for the holidays just ahead. And Hometown Heroes Adam Arrow highlights a couple of special stories during the giving season. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Good morning. Here's what's going on. Temperatures all across the region, basically mid to upper 20s. Now, there are a few upper or low 30s, Terre Haute, Muncie. Notice Cincinnati is a little bit cooler. What I think is going on is there's some clear skies down that direction. That will move its way to the north. And as it does is we will see those blue skies for once. We'll actually see a whole lot of melting as well. As for today, probably by noontime, we will start to get those clear skies. Temperatures upper 30s, low 40s. I think low to mid 40s seems to be about where I'd expect temperatures to end up today at the highest. It's going to be interesting to see how the ongoing snow melt does affect that. Obviously, if the snow completely goes away by 2-3 p.m., unlikely, but let's just use that. We will be looking at a much warmer afternoon. Speaking of much warmer afternoon, tomorrow we will have temperatures upper 40s and low 50s. We will see better chances of rain, though, on Friday, starting in the morning and continuing on again, off again throughout the daytime. No rain right now on the roads, though, so that is nice. It is going to be a pretty quiet forecast for both today and tomorrow.
Christmas may have come and gone, but examples of kindness and giving continue to be shared. Dayton Public Schools recently sharing a few stories of giving. And as Adam Arrow explains and shows us, many hometown heroes.
There have been so many great examples of people in our area going above and beyond this holiday season. Recently, Dayton Public Schools shared some excellent examples. Take a look at this. This is first-year EL specialist Kaylin Hatfield. The district says she organized a winter sock donation drive, all for students at Kaiser Elementary School. She got the support of 5 organizations and community members from Troy all the way to Florence, Kentucky. And all she helped collect 1,730 pairs of socks, which were then passed out to students. And take a look at this. This is at Thurgood Marshall STEM High School. They hosted a winter gear giveaway. Around several $1,000s worth of donations were collected and then passed out. That includes jackets, hats, gloves, and more. And it was all thanks to donations from staff, community members, also Shook Construction. Add it all up, and I think Dayton Public shows how many hometown heroes are among us each and every day.
Well, if you know someone that's a hometown hero, let us know. Grab your phone and scan the QR code. You can chime in your submission through our app. We just need a description of why they're a hometown hero and a few pictures or video as well. 5:45 is our time right now. Sunny side up or scrambled. The price of eggs continue to climb. Yeah, no kidding. In minutes, the reason for the huge jump and when you might see prices drop. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
So yesterday, I get outside with my dog, and we usually play a couple minutes, run inside. But in the snow, her toys are buried, except for one ball. Here's the thing, though. She always knows that if she runs into the deep part of the snow, she will outrun me. And that's fun for her. Not fun for me is having to go chase her through the snow. I'm liking this forecast for one reason and one reason only. One, her toys will show up, and number two, I don't have to go through trudging of 6-8 inches of snow trying to play with the dog when she's got her ball. She is the epitome of only throw, no give. That's the way she works. Here's what we're looking at for this morning. We are getting at least some rain into the forecast Friday and Saturday. The question mark is really how many breaks will we get during the day on Saturday? Now, obviously, Saturday night into Sunday, New Year's celebrations. This could be a period where it does get quite wet beforehand and maybe even during the celebration itself. As for Tuesday and Wednesday, we are also going to see some rain in the forecast. It's an active pattern, but I don't want people to get the idea that this is going to be necessarily a major weather maker. We're talking about at least some decent rainfall. The biggest concern would be just the rivers becoming a little bit swollen. We're going to have a lot of runoff either way between the snow melting, the ground thawing, and additionally whatever rain we do get. So just consider that in mind, and also consider this morning we're still probably seeing some snow on the secondary roads, although judging by my neighborhood, it is significantly less as of this morning. We are going to continue to see things shaping up pretty okay on the major highways and interstates, so no issues on 675 or 75 this morning.
Our time right now, 5:49, the granddaddy of them all. We're getting ready. Preparation now underway for the Tournament of Roses. In minutes, we got some fun facts about the Rose Bowl parade. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
In this morning's GMA First Look, how those holiday decorations could put your home at risk. This fire breaking out early Christmas morning. Sacramento fire rescue teams battling intense flames that ripped through the home, which they say started from an artificial Christmas tree with an electrical malfunction.
Within seconds that they were overcome by smoke and fire. One of the most common things I hear from homeowners when I arrive on a fire is they didn't think it would happen to them. And it does happen. And it can happen in your home too.
Between 2016 and 2019, the National Fire Protection Association says U.S. fire departments responded to an estimated average of 790 home structure fires per year that began with decorations. And coming up at 7 a.m., what you need to know to keep you and your family safe. With your GMA First Look, I'm Matt Gutman, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 selling nerve care company. Nervive contains alpha-lipoic acid to relieve occasional nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort. Try Nervive Nerve Relief.
Had enough? No, arthritis. Here, Aspirin Arthritis. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Thank the gods.
Don't thank them too soon.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
Second date. Wish me luck, buddy.
Mouth to mission control. We have a denture problem. Over.
Roger that.
With Polydent Cleanser and Polygrip Adhesive, we're fresh and secure for any close encounter.
If your mouth could talk, it would ask for
Polydent and Polygrip.
For fast sore throat relief, try Vicks VapoCool Drops with 2 times more menthol per drop and the powerful rush of Vicks Vapors for fast-acting relief you can feel. Vicks VapoCool Drops.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
We are on the Watson's weather patio this morning, where we're going to talk about snow in just a little bit, because I think it's kind of interesting because of the setup we've got. But for this morning, we're talking about wind chills. Just every once in a while, there's a wind at my back, and it does feel quite cold out here. Feels like the teens, but it's not necessarily that bad. Now, let's go back to snow for just a second. This is where it gets interesting. So snow is one of those that we talk about, the 10-to-1 ratio. But that's just an average. In fact, there are sometimes I've seen it where it's 40-to-1, meaning 0.01 could produce upwards of, I think that's, let's see, doing the math, 4 inches of snow. What ends up happening is you get mostly air and fluff within the ice crystal formation. On the opposite end, where you get that real wet snow, that's what we talk about when it's, let's say, around 32, 33. This is obviously pretty dry. And with temperatures still in the 20s and teens, I think that it's going to stay dry up until this evening, where it is going to get quite wet.
Well, whether you like them scrambled or sunny side up or over easy, my personal favorite, one constant is you're going to be paying more at the grocery store. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the price of eggs jumped nearly 50% in 2022 through November, not just for seasonal swings. One reason, a deadly avian flu reduced poultry flocks, specifically turkeys and egg-laying hens. And then add to that rising feed and energy costs for producers, as well as high demand. The good news is, though, experts think the peak has passed, so hopefully we will see those go down. And a new study confirms what many of us already knew. Women are usually better than men when it comes to empathizing. There's no shock there, let me tell you. A new study was published earlier this week. Cambridge researchers concluded the female capacity for empathy appears to be greater all around the world, across cultures, and regardless of family influence. Now, their study examined a particular form of empathy known as theory of mind, or cognitive empathy. That's the intellectual ability to understand what someone else might be thinking or feeling. Now, researchers tested more than 300,000 people in 57 different countries. And preparation now underway in Pasadena, Florida. Normally a New Year's Day tradition, the 134th Rose Parade, or Rose Bowl Parade, I should say, will be taking place on Monday, January 2nd. Events will occur the day after the New Year's Day, in keeping with the tournament's Never on Sunday tradition, which started back in 1893. Some fun facts, though, on the Tournament of Roses. All of the floats together take approximately 18 million flowers. The parade route is 5.5 miles long, and more than 700,000 people actually become participants or spectators every year. Have you ever been out there for the Rose Bowl?
No, my grandparents did. I think it would be actually kind of cool. It's one of those things that I look at and I go, when you talk about bucket list items, it may be on the lower end of the spectrum, but if you're in that town, in the area, you'd go check it out, right?
Oh, for sure. I think the thing is like, you know, as a Buckeye fan, as a Big Ten, like, you know, fan, it's definitely the Rose Bowl was like the primo
the
back in the day.
granddaddy
Yeah, that
of
was like
them
the
all.
granddaddy. Yeah, of course. So I would absolutely love to go see a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean, it's lost maybe just a touch of a luster with the introduction of the playoffs.
Right.
But it's still the Rose Bowl.
Oh, it's still the Rose Bowl.
And I still love that game. I will probably pop on, you know, at least 10 hours of football this weekend.
Just to watch, yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
just to do something.
All right, 5:57 our time right now. We got a lot more coming up on ABC 22 in the morning, beginning at 6.
There are so many options for you to enjoy New Year's Eve, the countdown to 2023 here in the Dayton area. Coming up next, I am going to explain some of those and maybe even give you a little taste of what to expect.
5:58 our time. See you over on 6 a.m.
Live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're waking up to on social right now. South Korea expected to spend $440 million by 2027 to counter North Korea drones. And take a look at this incredible video. An amazing rescue caught on camera. That's the dog. Yeah, you can't even see it. Nala, the dog, reunited with her family after being stranded overnight in the snowy mountains in Utah. And wake up, sports fans. Former Centerville Elk Sean Murphy making that money, honey. The Atlanta Braves signing the Gold Glove catcher to a 6-year deal worth $73 million. And now we want to give you a live look over the Gem City right now. Finally, we are heading into a slightly warmer weather after last week's winter storm. So let's toss it right over to meteorologist Nick Maruziak. And Nick, when can we expect to see those warmer temperatures?
How about, let me check the schedule here. I'm going to go with, you good for noontime? Good. Noonish. Well, actually see the sun right about that point. Temperatures low 30s giving way to eventually upper 30s and low 40s. This particular model has been significantly on the cool side. I think that it's factoring in a lot of snow melt, which will be happening, but at the same time, I think based on the sunshine, we should be able to easily get low 40s pretty much across the board. Then for tomorrow morning, notice the clouds starting to move in. Tomorrow ends up a much more cloudy day. But I still think low 50s, just depends on how much snow is left for tomorrow morning. Friday, here comes the rain. That's going to be still in the low 50s, but periods of rain are going to be likely Friday and Saturday. In the meantime, the roadways this morning, we're still seeing things looking okay on the interstates. Obviously, the side roads still have some snow on them, but it is getting better. Later on today, I'd expect to see a lot of that snow melting away.
And now we want to give you a live look right now at FlightAware's Misery map. Yeah, you heard me right. That, of course, tracks canceled flights and radar for winter weather. You can see lots of red on that map this morning, meaning a lot of headaches for travelers.
We spent 3 hours here yesterday and finally just gave up, and now we're here today and the line's much shorter, which is good, but still, it's been an awful experience.
Yeah, awful experience. Luggage piling up at multiple airports across the country following thousands of canceled flights, mostly by Southwest Airlines. This is video from Houston. I mean, it is absolutely incredible how much baggage is piling up. Now, the Biden administration is investigating. Southwest Airlines continues to struggle with that holiday rush. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg calls it an unacceptable situation.
From what I can tell, Southwest is unable to locate even where their own crews are, let alone their own passengers, let alone baggage. So I conveyed to the CEO our expectation that they are going to go above and beyond to take care of passengers and to address this.
Southwest blames multiple factors, including storm delays, aggressive flight scheduling, and outdated infrastructure. Buttigieg says the Transportation Department will hold the airline accountable to ensure this doesn't happen again. And New York State Police are continuing their search and rescue efforts in Buffalo this morning. This is the tweet from the National Weather Service in Buffalo saying this makes just over a week without winter weather headlines in effect for that area. Crews there using this machine you're seeing on your TV. It's called the Rook. It clears anything in their way so roads can be cleared by plows. Authorities continue to urge drivers to stay off the roads. There is still a travel ban in effect, in the city. Officials are still counting the fatalities from the winter storm as well, which is the deadliest in the region in more than 2 decades. And one of the people that died is Andell Taylor. Now, we want to show you footage. This was shared by her family. She was just 6 minutes from her home when her car got stuck in the heavy snow, leaving her stranded. She called for help and waited for first responders. A woman discovered her body the next day. An official with the Buffalo Fire Department said they couldn't get to her in time due to the severe conditions, adding that the equipment they sent to help also got stuck. Taylor's exact cause of death has not yet been revealed. And we now know the driver of a semi-tractor trailer involved in a deadly crash in Shelby County will now face charges. It happened on Christmas Eve, where you can actually see marked on this map. 29-year-old Dayton Rokubert faces 5 charges of vehicular homicide. 4 people were killed. One of the victims was pregnant. Now, bond is now set at $125,000. And this morning, behind me, you can see crews cleaning up the Ohio State House. This after it flooded yesterday. The Columbus Dispatch reports a pipe burst over the Senate chamber. Now, this is footage shared from Senator Jay Huttinger showing some of that water damage. Workers were able to shut the water off to the building minutes after the flooding started. Water reportedly went down 2 levels of stairs. Puddles accumulated in the Senate floor and outside of the offices as well. And a fire in an apartment building in Dayton has left 9 people without a home this morning. It happened at a complex on Germantown Street around 4 o'clock last night. Dayton firefighters were able to stop that fire from spreading, but to the rest of the building. Thankfully, of course, no one was hurt. Now, the Red Cross has been called in to help the people who lost their homes. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. And another search expected to happen this weekend for a missing Clermont County man with autism. Surveillance video shows 72-year-old Tommy Mills, who you see on your screen right now, leaving his apartment on December 5th around 10:20 that night. He hasn't been seen or heard from since. Volunteers and law enforcement have already done several searches. The next is this Saturday at Access Church in Amelia. You can find more information on the web version of this story on our website. And we're coming up on the new year, and many throughout the Miami Valley are, of course, ready to celebrate. Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live in downtown this morning with some options for you over the weekend. Alex.
Yeah, I mean, of course, some people enjoy staying home. Others like to go out and celebrate the start of the new year. Some prefer to celebrate earlier in the day. Others like to stay out. There's so many different options for you just to get excited for the fresh start of 2023. Here, you can see behind me, I am at Mudlick Tap House. They are actually going to have a boozy brunch. You'll need to reserve a table or grab a group of friends and book a heated igloo. But this is a nice early celebration you can enjoy. For those who might prefer a later celebration to ring in the new year at midnight, there are tons of events in the area. Yellow Cab Tavern's New Year's Eve silent disco in Dayton's Ball Drop. The doors open at 8. There is a $15 pre-sale, or it'll be $20 at the door. There's also a black tie affair at MJ's on Jefferson. You can reserve a table for up to 6 people by purchasing tickets on Eventbrite. A New Year's Eve Roaring 20s Gala will be held at the Marriott, the University of Dayton, starting at 7 Saturday evening. I mean, so many options, but keep in mind it is one of the busiest nights of the year, so most places that don't require tickets will have a cover charge. You'll find more about these New Year's Eve activities, events, I should say, on our website, Dayton247now.com. Stay with us because I'm going to have some more options, more family-friendly options, too, coming up next. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
And so, Alex, when do you prefer to celebrate the new year?
It's really hard to say because most of the time we have to work the next morning. So usually if I do celebrate, I'll celebrate a little bit earlier and still go to bed fairly early. But this year, since it's on a Saturday, I might actually get to celebrate in the evening. But either way, it'll be a nice, relaxing night ahead.
It's always nice when we can have a nice, relaxing New Year's Eve. All right, 6:08 our time right now. Don't forget your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. After years of trying to understand Donald Trump's finances, the House Ways and Means Committee is set to make his tax returns public just ahead when they plan to release the documents. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Well, ain't this a little bit of sunshine? Oh boy, I'm not going to get that word out. And literally, temperatures will go from the 30s this morning into the mid 30s by 11 a.m. and then low to mid 40s depending on A, the amount of sunshine, B, also how much snow we begin to melt away. Now, it is worth pointing out that we have about 2-3 inches depending on where you are around the area, and thus it may take a while for this to actually begin to melt away. I still think that it's going to be possible that we do a good bit of it, probably driveways and also any sidewalks that have been swept or, shoveled. Those are probably going to be the first spots that you start to see any type of clearing. Of course, any ground near fences where it's a little bit darker, that would also be it. Either way, today, tomorrow, and Friday, by the time we get towards those 3 days, I think that pretty much all the snow will have left the area. Instead, it's all about the rain. Meanwhile, on the roads, it's been pretty much quiet this morning. Haven't seen too many issues all across 675, 70, and 75. All looking okay on our maps this morning. So again, it may be just the secondary roads where we still have some snow. And by the end of the day, those are probably gone as well.
6:13, our time right now, trying to dig out from a historic winter storm just ahead. We're going to take a look with and speak with some Buffalo residents happy to get out of the house. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Unbelievable videos, or photos I should say, coming out of Buffalo this morning. These images are from Hamburg, the snowmobile club who took supplies to people stranded by that massive snowstorm, and finally some relief as people were able to get out of the New York opening the throughway Chase Howell talks with a few of those residents dealing with cabin fever.
A wicked and deadly winter storm ravaging western New York, shutting down the Buffalo airport and a 140-mile stretch of the New York Thruway from Henrietta to the Pennsylvania state line.
I have been here for 1 day and a half, but I have been in the New York state for 4 days.
The Thruway Authority resuming travel Tuesday after deeming it safe after several days of it being closed. Vaughn Oliver is just getting out of the house for the first time today since the storm. He says if the Thruway was closed any longer, it would have caused him some major issues.
It probably would have been a problem for me. Type of work I do, I have to kind of get around. I do need access to it. So yeah, I'm glad that is open.
Veronica Maneri has lived in the Buffalo area since 2004. She says this winter storm hasn't only kept her at home, but away from family.
So really, this is the third year that I've not been able to be with my family for Christmas. I have a twin sister in Toronto. My children all live in Canada and one in Hamilton. My mom's 95 in Bowmanville. We haven't been able to see her for Christmas or anyone in our family for 3 years now. So it's been tough, like really tough. So a little bit of cabin fever going on here. Looking forward to New Year's, hoping to celebrate Christmas then.
In Buffalo, I'm Chase Howell at the National Desk, America News Now.
A live look this morning from the Capitol building, where the House Ways and Means Committee will release former President Donald Trump's tax returns on Friday. Multiple reports have the returns being placed into the congressional record Friday morning around 9 a.m. The House Ways and Means Committee is controlled by Democrats who have tried for years to learn more about Trump's finances. He's the only modern president to refuse to release his tax returns, which could result in political fallout for the 2024 White House hopeful.
Good morning. We're going to start things out with a live look over the Gem City from our Kettering Health Tower Cam. It is a morning where we're really not waking up too much, and later on today we'll actually see the sun come out probably as soon as noontime, maybe even the mid to late morning hours. We are expecting temperatures as a result to be warmer. I'm thinking within a few degrees of average, maybe a little bit more so. So not necessarily a huge change, but certainly a change from where we have been as of late, where go back to last weekend and we were lucky to see temperatures above zero at points. As for Thursday, we are going to see even warmer weather. I don't think we'll see too much in the way of shower activity till overnight Thursday into Friday. And then from there, scattered showers, but also temperatures in the 50s. In fact, we've got 50s all the way through the new year, but we'll start at 40s. Overnight, drop into the 30s. This is those clouds increase. Tomorrow, low 50s. Tomorrow, probably the nicest day in terms of temperature and also just conditions, because Friday and Saturday, we are going to see some rain. And by the fact is Sunday, between ongoing snow melt, between the thawing of the ground, between the rain, it's probably going to be a soggy start to your New Year's. Although, in terms of actual rainfall, I don't really see much on Sunday. As for the roads this morning, no major issues right now on any of our 75 cameras. We haven't seen too many issues either on 675, 70, or 75. Just a little bit of extra time in the neighborhoods, although even those are getting better this morning.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, it's pretty exciting news. A Dayton-based business management consultant has won a seat on a $650 million 5-year VA contract. JJR Solutions will work alongside 16 other companies on the Accelerating Veterans Affairs Innovation and Learning Contract Vehicle. Now that will allow the VA to release task orders for the innovation services and personalized care, data transformation, immersive technology, and care and service delivery. JJR Solutions is a service-disabled veteran-owned small business. To read more about this story and others like it, head on over to Dayton247now.com, click on the News tab, and select Dayton Business Journal. Our time right now is 6:21. Digital producer Max stopping by in just minutes. Your Facebook poll question coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
All right, we're going to head to the dog of the day. Olaf joining us once more. We will swap out the dog of the day. Olaf, thank you. And thank you to Rebecca for sending in Olaf. As for the forecast itself, much better than it has been. We are going to see the sunshine, a lot of melting. So there's still going to be a very much so slushy spot or two. But I think the ice, by and large, will start to get out of here probably as soon as, let's say, noontime, as temperatures are in the upper 30s. By the time we get well into the afternoon with low 40s, we are going to be talking about sunshine, 40s. Almost all of it's going to be wet. It's going to be slushy. And, oh, yeah, by the way, maybe not necessarily for the dogs, except if maybe you have a dog that'll chase a snowball. But this is going to be the type of snow that is actually useful for snowballs themselves. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, still dealing with whatever snow fell. It's still that light, fluffy snow, but at this point, you know, there are going to be some spots that just maybe still a little bit slick for this morning. Still, it looks like traffic on 75 looking pretty good for this morning, and no major issues 75, 70, or 675 either.
All right, so we were kind of arguing, I like to say arguing in a nice way,
We were
about
throwing
this.
fisticuffs.
I didn't think this would be controversial.
It is. It's very controversial. So digital producer Max, everyone knows, just a plain white shirt today, nothing fancy.
No ham and egg in it?
Nothing fancy. All right, so Max, what are we asking folks on Facebook?
So I thought this would be a very easy question. When do you put away your Christmas tree? When
Also,
all the
no
decor?
glasses today?
No glasses?
You don't have glasses on?
Oh, I only wear them when I'm at the computer.
Oh, I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute, no glasses?
Just
okay,
blue
sorry.
Carry
on.
I carry on.
Anyway, I thought this would be a pretty easy, like, you know, maybe a few days after Christmas, a few days after the New Year. I thought that would be the general vicinity. Christy says it's all put away the day after Christmas.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's a little extreme, in my opinion, but okay.
Kathleen says the day after Epiphany.
Okay, January 7th.
January
right?
7th. Linda says, I never put it up this year. All year has been one devastating thing after another. I didn't want to celebrate. I'm sorry you're having a hard year, Linda.
I'm so sorry, Linda. Hopefully your year gets better.
You know, it's almost a new year. There's always another chance.
Yes.
Laura says it stays up until it's the 6th and then it comes on down. Well,
a lot of the people keep it up till after the
I'm
Epiphany, which is interesting.
It seems like that's about where the time period is, Christmas to the Epiphany.
I normally take it down like New Year's Day.
Yeah.
I'll wake up, my dad always has us eat sauerkraut. I guess that's just been a tradition
sauerkraut,
of his.
pork.
And then we will take down the tree. Scott says when the tree dries out and becomes a fire hazard.
Yeah, good call, but maybe you should remove it before.
Or, you know, if it's artificial, it pretty much is a fire hazard. It's just a sitting fire hazard.
New Year's Day is probably when I will take mine down, actually.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, 6:27 is our time. Right now, we got a lot more coming up for you.
You guys are talking about Christmas trees while I'm out here talking about the new year and what you guys can do to celebrate. I'm going to explain a few of them coming up next.
But first, here's Genevieve Gorder with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
You guys, what are two things you lose the most? It's your keys and it's your phone. And it's so frustrating. I know this because I spend hours every day looking for these items. So listen up. You don't want to miss this buy one, get one exclusive deal on the KeySmart Pro. Now, the KeySmart Pro organizes up to 14 keys in one little device. Literally every guy on the set has one in his pocket right now. And as we were setting up this display, people were actually trying to take them. So my advice is buy this now for everyone you love because they're not going to last. It takes all those keys in the drawer, the bottom of your purse, and puts them right into one little thing, and it connects to a free app. So if you lose your keys, you press the button on the app. You lose your phone, you press the button on the keychain. Even if your phone is on silent, you can find it. It's a win-win. They find each other, guys. You know how many hours this saves us? For me, like probably 6 hours a day. I bet you have someone in your life that needs one of these. My family literally impersonates me by putting on a pair of sunglasses and saying, "Where's my phone? Where's my keys?" And now with this buy one, get one free deal, it's the perfect time to get one for you, someone you love in all of these great colors. Remember, this is a buy one, get one free. Do not wait. Go to asadeals.com.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social right now. The U.S. considering COVID entry restrictions on travelers from China. This after an uptick in COVID cases in the country.
And serenity now, especially after the holidays. Here's a gorgeous view of the icy waterfalls in Trumansburg, New York.
Isn't that beautiful?
I mean, that is gorgeous, but look at all these tags. Like, that's just, hi, pay attention to me, please,
well, yeah,
hi.
of course. Wouldn't you want to pay attention to that? It's beautiful.
I just want to visit it, to be honest with you.
And Luka Doncic,
Yeah, sure.
becomes the first player in NBA history to record a 60-point, 20-rebound triple-double. I assume that's a good thing. As the Mavs beat the Knicks in overtime. Now, in the postgame interview shown right here behind us, he said, quote, "I'm tired as hell. I need a recovery beer."
Yeah, don't we all? Like after this shift, we are donezo. I will take 2 recovery beers.
Yeah.
1 for you, 1 for me. That's the way.
How about 2 for you? You can keep it. Well, this morning we now know the woman accused of kidnapping 5-month-old twin boys from Columbus will face a judge again tomorrow. 24-year-old Nala Jackson was in court in Indianapolis yesterday for allegedly spitting on an officer. While in court, she said she doesn't want to waste anyone's time and wanted to plead guilty. However, the judge said at that time she couldn't do so. Now, no word on when she may be extradited back to Ohio. Jackson was arrested in Indianapolis in connection with last week's kidnapping of Kyer and Kason Thomas. The twins were in the back seat of their mother's car when it was stolen. That abduction sparked a multi-state Amber Alert. Kyer was found the next day in the parking lot at the Dayton International Airport. Kason was found days later inside a car in downtown Indianapolis. Both babies are in good health. Jackson faces 2 counts of kidnapping in Ohio and federal charges for bringing Kason over state lines.
This morning we're waking up to temperatures in the 20s. Remember a couple days ago where we had wind chills in the minus 20s? Yeah, that's already 50 degrees or thereabouts in terms of what it feels like, that warm up. But look at some of these temperatures. 28 in Wapakoneta, 25 in Bellefontaine, 27 in Troy, 23. That's a cooler spot. Richmond, of course, that's where we did have a little bit more reinforcing snow, and 22 in Middletown, 28 right now in Dayton. We are talking about a mild day by this time of year standards, actually almost a bang on average day, maybe just a few degrees warmer. We will see even milder weather, including 50 degrees plus, perhaps even a shot at 60 degrees, but at the same time, it gets warmer, it also gets wetter. We're going to have, this time around, rain instead of snow. We'll time that out for you, including Friday's rain on its way. In the meantime, well, it's fairly quiet morning commute, so no major issues on the roadways, and it's just going to be a little bit snow covered on the secondary roads, maybe just for a few more hours.
Well, if you don't have any plans set for New Year's Eve, it is not too late to figure it out. Dayton 24/7 Hours Alex King is live downtown with some ideas for everyone. Alex.
Yeah, you know, some events do require tickets, so you may want to consider figuring those plans out sooner rather than later. Here at Mudlick Tap House, you can come out early. You can reserve a table or one of these heated igloos for a boozy brunch pregame to kick off your evening plans. There are really so many ways you can celebrate the countdown into the new year. One option is heading to the Dublin Pub, where starting at 6 p.m. there will be a complimentary drink distributed every hour to toast the new year around the globe, each drink representing a different country. I thought that was so cool. You can also celebrate at the Boonshoft Museum starting at 9 p.m. Tickets are $100 per adult and $25 for kids. Parents, don't worry, because there will be education staff and volunteers that will provide childcare. You can also join the New Year's Eve bash at Blind Bob's. You can expect lots of dancing, of course, once the doors open at 8 o'clock. And you're going to find more of these New Year's Eve events on our website, Dayton247now.com. Just go to underneath the local section of our website. Stay with us, because we are going to talk about some more events, because there's all kinds of events going on this weekend. Live in Dayton, Alex King, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Now, Alex, I know you mentioned earlier in the shows that you're just kind of hanging out at home, and I know you mentioned some snacky snacks. So what are you planning on making?
You know, that's a great question. It's really, what is my mom planning on making? Because any excuse not to cook, I will take it. Actually, I probably will. I mean, we definitely are going to go with some skyline dip. That's just always a classic at our family parties. Well, this isn't really going to be a party, but, and then of course, just lots of chips and dips in general, probably. I think my parents are going to make some wings. So we're going to have a pretty good amount of options. So I'm excited. We're going to eat good. Back to you.
Sounds good to me. Well, on your screen, the countdown to 2023, just a little over 3 days away. And with the new year, Ohio's minimum wage will be going up. The 80-cent hike for non-tipped employees will be the largest in 16 years. Mimi Bob breaks down what this means for your wallet.
If you are a full-time employee making the minimum wage, that will equal to $404 in the new year a week. Now, you take that and you multiply that by 4 weeks. You'll be making $1,616 a month. Now, don't forget that is before taxes. Uncle Sam will have to get a cut. Now, economists say most people don't make the minimum wage. It's to encourage employers to set a competitive wage. But for some consumers, even making $12 isn't enough.
The bad news is that real wages are falling for that group of people due to the inflation. So, yeah, an increase in the minimum wage does make the employed people better off. But it's not enough to offset our experience with inflation over the last 2 years.
The wage increase goes into effect January 1st. Tipped employees will see a 40-cent increase. That'll be $5.05. That's what it's going to be. Now, there is a petition to get a $15 minimum wage increase on the ballot. If approved, the minimum wage will rise starting in 2025 to jump to $15 by 2018. Back to you.
This morning, Columbus police are investigating and questioning witnesses at a shooting in the Franklinton neighborhood. It happened at a short-term rental home at what police say was a pajama party. The 5 people who were heard are all between 17 and 19 years old. They're all expected to be okay. No word yet on what sparked that gunfire. And Riverside police need your help identifying the suspect who robbed a Sunoco gas station December 21st. That is not the video we are currently showing you. There we are. This suspect had a handgun. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact Detective Michael Sullivan at the number at the bottom of your screen, 937-233-1801. And Moraine police are searching for suspects who they say beat and robbed a 94-year-old man on Christmas Eve. Police arrived at the home on Clearview Drive. Now, that's that map you're looking at there. To perform a wellness check Christmas Day. They found the house ransacked and the man beaten and bound. Now, the victim's family is offering a $5,000 reward to anyone with information that leads to those suspects. And if you have a real Christmas tree you're looking to get rid of, you can drop it off at Eastwood Metro Park. They're accepting the trees now until the 31st, and then again between January 2nd and 8th. They're collecting them on behalf of Ohio's Natural Resources Department. Make sure your trees are free of any decorations, glitter, or other materials. 6:40 is our time right now. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen and your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials. Sunny side up or scrambled, the price of eggs continues to climb. In minutes, the reason for the huge jump and when you might see prices drop. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeffshman Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Crews in Buffalo are still working around the clock just to clear a path on major roads. By the end of the week, the concerns turn to flooding as rainfall and above freezing temperatures arrive. Powerful winds pounding the Pacific Northwest are creating scenes like this at Cape Disappointment in southern Washington state. The storm is also bringing coastal flooding, rain, and heavy snow in the mountains.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio. At the same time, the West Coast is getting an atmospheric river of moisture. Well, we're fairly quiet for right now. It has been fairly quiet for the last couple of days. On Monday, we had that real weak weather maker move through. I know my car was outside, and I had to just dust it off a little bit. Right for now, it's not that cold outside, at least comparatively to where we were earlier this week or even the weekend. But every once in a while, there is this breeze that's right at my back. And basically the back of my head, my ears all start to get a little bit redder. And it's chilly, but it's not brutally cold. Later on today, we do expect temperatures in the 40s. In fact, tomorrow, I would not be shocked if we just see more grass than slush and snow. But there is going to be at least some snow lingering. And beyond Friday, I think it's going to be all about the rain that's on its way. There's going to be a couple of days worth of rain. We'll have that coming up in just a bit.
Whether you like them scrambled, sunny side up, or my personal favorite, over easy, one constant is you're going to be paying more for eggs at the grocery store. Ugh. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the price of eggs jumped nearly 50% in 2022 through November, though not adjusted for seasonal swings. One reason a deadly avian flu reduced poultry flocks, specifically turkeys and egg-laying hens, add that rising feed and energy costs for producers as well as high demand. The good news is experts think the peak has passed. 6:45 is our time right now. The granddaddy of them all. Preparation underway for the Tournament of Roses. In minutes, fun facts about the Rose Bowl Parade. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Here's what we're looking at this morning. It is a quiet start to your morning. There's not a whole lot going on Wednesday and Thursday. So let's skip ahead to the time period where we're actually going to talk about some wet weather moving in. Starting as soon as early Friday morning, there will likely be some scattered showers moving into the area. Really, though, to me, this screams Friday into Saturday time period for us to see rain. This is going to be the potential for a decent rainfall across the area. Now, is it going to completely overwhelm things? Probably not, but it is certainly going to be quite wet out there, especially for any of those that are gallivanting out Saturday night into Sunday, or maybe those that are waking up early Sunday after sleeping in Saturday. You could still see a few lingering showers. Once we get into Tuesday of next week, more rain is possible. Again, I can't say exact amounts yet, but the general theme is for at least these to be decent rainfall events. Today, though, by comparison, we're talking about temperatures in the 40s, so at least it's going to be a fairly, I'm going to say, nice pattern for us. A good day to melt away a lot of the snow. We are going to see temperatures over the weekend in the 50s, so that's going for us as well. But that's also, again, where we are going to see those rain showers both Friday and Saturday. Meantime, roads today still wet outside, but we're not dealing with any type of heavy-duty issues. A little bit more traffic, though. That's certainly noteworthy as we get out of the holiday season and start to get back to, well, I hate to say it this way, but the daily grind.
Preparation now underway in Pasadena, California. Normally a New Year's Day tradition, the 134th Rose Parade will take place on Monday, January 2nd. Events occur the day after New Year's Day, in keeping with the tournament's Never on Sunday tradition, which started back in 1893. Some fun facts on the Tournament of Roses. All of the floats together take approximately 18 million flowers. The parade route is about 5.5 miles long, and more than 700,000 people become participants or spectators each year. And a new study now confirms what many of us already know. Women are usually better than men when it comes to empathizing. A new study was published earlier this week. Cambridge researchers concluded the female capacity for empathy appears to be greater all around the world, across cultures, and regardless of family influence. Their study examined a particular form of empathy known as theory of mind, or cognitive empathy. That's the intellectual ability to understand what someone else might be thinking or feeling. The researchers tested more than 300,000 people in 57 countries. So what do you think, right or wrong?
Why are you asking me what I think? You should know. You're the empath over here.
No, I read the story. I'm simply involving you in the anchor chat.
I feel like I'm not going to defend men here. I think there's a certain level of self-awareness that we're all lacking sometimes. It's like, you know, and I know I'm about to get roasted in the email. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, it's guys, women, less so. Just try and be more self-aware and put yourself in other people's shoes.
I don't think it's a male-female thing. I think it's just like you were mentioning, it's a self-awareness thing. I've had just as many women say nasty comments to me. In fact, more women say nasty comments to me than men.
Yeah, the Cameron brigade is
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
although I did have a guy call me obese last week, so
that was a banner week in your house.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Great.
Cheers.
That would be the self-awareness we're talking about. Maybe not call me obese. That would be fantastic. 6:52 our time right now, playing the role of the underdog. We all know Ohio State fans love it. Ohio State preparing for the Peach Bowl at 7 on Fox 45. We're going to check in with Clay Hall following the Bucks in Atlanta. Well, the holiday weekend saw a surge in property fires, some of them deadly. Now, we now know at least 10 people died from 5 different fires across the state, and that includes a barn fire in Darke County. This is the deadliest year since 2013 for fire-related deaths. Fire officials believe the increase is because of people using alternative heat sources, and they, of course, encourage you to take every preventative measure you can. Now, here's some tips from the American Red Cross. Make sure you get your furnaces, chimneys, and fireplaces inspected and cleaned before you use them. If you're using a space heater, look for one that will shut off automatically if the heater falls over. Keep flammable things like paper, clothes, and curtains at least 3 feet away from space heaters or fireplaces. And, of course, don't leave them unattended. Also, you can cut down on heating costs by insulating your home with storm windows. On your screen right now is the countdown to 2023. We are just a little more than 3 days away. And with the new year, Ohio's minimum wage is going up. That 80-cent hike for non-tipped employees will be the largest in 16 years. Mamie Ball breaks down what this means for your wallet.
If you are a full-time employee making the minimum wage, that will equal to $404 in the new year a week. Now, you take that and you multiply that by 4 weeks, you'll be making $1,616 a month. Now, don't forget that is before taxes. Uncle Sam will have to get a cut. Now, economists say most people don't make the minimum wage. It's to encourage employers to set a competitive wage. But for some consumers, even making $12 isn't enough.
The bad news is that real wages are falling for that group of people due to the inflation. So, yeah, an increase in the minimum wage does make the employed people better off, but it's not enough to offset our experience with inflation over the last 2 years.
The wage increase goes into effect January 1st. Tipped employees will see a 40-cent increase. That'll be $5.05. That's what it's going to be. Now, there is a petition to get a $15 minimum wage increase on the ballot. If approved, the minimum wage will rise starting in 2025 to jump to $15 by 2018. Back to you.
Well, we're coming up on the new year, as we just mentioned, and many throughout the Miami Valley are getting ready to celebrate. Dayton 24/7 Now's Alex King is live downtown this morning with some more on some options for you over the weekend. Alex.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, some people enjoy staying home. Other people like going out to celebrate the start of the new year. Some prefer celebrating earlier in the day, and that's something you can do here at the Mudlick Tap House. You can see by the patio right here. You can reserve a table, or you can reserve one of these heated igloos for a boozy brunch. For those who might prefer a later celebration to ring in the new year at midnight, there are tons of events in the area. Just to name a few: Yellow Cab Tavern's New Year's Eve Silent Disco and Dayton's Ball Drop. The doors open at 8. There's a $15 pre-sale, or it will be $20 at the door. A black tie affair at MJ's on Jefferson. You can reserve a table for up to 6 people by purchasing tickets on Eventbrite. And there's a New Year's Eve a Roaring 20s Gala, which will be held at the Marriott at the University of Dayton starting at 7 Saturday evening. But keep in mind, it's one of the busiest nights of the year, so most places that don't require tickets will have a cover charge. You can